And then from a payment and Hedera perspective, they're built to scale. And so that's one of the beautiful things about what we do.
Bobby, welcome back. How things been?
Going well, man. Great to be back. How are you?
I'm doing really good. Now, you had some exciting news. SKUx announced the completion of phase one of your collaboration with Mondelez. Can you explain exactly what that announcement was about, and what does this mean for SKUx, Mondelez, and Hedera?
Sure. Yeah, no, it's super exciting set of weeks for us here. We announced with Mondelez the completion of phase one of the project. So just as a general update for everyone, we've been working with Mondelez for quite some time on powering payment-based offers alongside coupons and other types of offers and check reimbursements that they do to their consumers. And so this initial phase was taking that finally to the next step and posting those transactions to Hedera. And so we are live officially with a subset of those transactions. So think about the power of powering real-time payment-based offers on behalf of one of the biggest brands in the world, and then immutably tying that transaction to Hedera. It's actually happening. And so we announced that. It's the first phase of a multi-phase project that you've read in the release. So just super excited to make that milestone alongside Hedera and the Hashgraph Association. So big times, man.
Well, I'm going to change up the order of some of the questions that I was going to ask you, just because you're talking about actually putting these transactions to the network. Mondelez is a huge company, and you're working with a lot of other big companies as well. What's your plan here for scaling and expansion?
It's a great question. I mean, I think we started just being very intentional about the problem that we're solving, the platform that we built. So scale comes from the start, building a platform that's architected to distribute offers, payment based on behalf of these partners like Mondelez, and then thinking through from a distributed ledger technology perspective, what network are we partnering with? How do we drive those transactions, both from a speed, from an efficiency standpoint, and also, just being able to do everything seamlessly for the consumer. Because at the end of the day, that's what wins, right? I mean, there were some stats that I was hearing earlier today. I mean, like 90% of these payments are being redeemed by these consumers. I mean, just powerful metrics, because if you think about it, in an offer ecosystem world, like, we're not walking in grocery stores, at least as the younger generation, with coupons stuffed in our pockets anymore. Everyone has their smartphone. And so we believe payments is the new paradigm for promotions. We're very aligned with Mondelez in that same initiative. And so scalability comes from getting the consumer value proposition correct, powering the right consumer experience on behalf of our partners. And then from a payment and Hedera perspective, they're built to scale. And so that's one of the beautiful things about what we do. If we do the front side of this right, the back end is just support that we already have in place. So yeah, we're very intentional here at SKUx. I know there's a lot of chatter in the community about what can this be, how big can it be. Anybody can look up Mondelez and understand the size and scope of their brand. We're not focused on what and how big it can be at this stage. We're really focused on just getting it right with them, and they've been an incredible partner. And the volumes and the scale comes when you get it right up front. So.
Love to hear that kind of focus. Now, you mentioned 90% of the promotions getting redeemed. Is that just digital promotions in general, or are you actually starting to see data from this use case?
That's data. Yeah, that's data in
Yeah.
terms of, if you think about, if you take a step back and you think about what we're doing, right? So we're powering a payment to a consumer's mobile wallet that they can use wherever that payment's accepted, or at the specific merchant that payment's set up for, right? So if you think about the world of couponing and spray and pray and the lack of data, right? The ability to, a brand like Mondelez or others that we work with, they really don't see insight into where that coupon is or that check is when they disperse that to their consumer. We're empowering them to be able to not only send that to a consumer in a better way, but then actually extract data when it was redeemed. And so when we talk about percentages, like, we're seeing stats as high as 90+% of the payments that actually go to that consumer actually being activated and redeemed. So now they can tie it full circle and say, I distributed this on behalf of whatever that was, whether it was a reactive or a proactive promotion. And then they can actually tie through the fact that the consumer actually got it and used it, which is huge.
Yeah, that it's actually bringing value to the use case. So one of the things that caught my ear when I read your press release is Mondelez mentioned that this is just the beginning. What does the rest of your roadmap look like when it comes to working with Mondelez?
So it's a pretty big roadmap. I can't say everything publicly at this stage, but I am excited that this is a long-term approach, right? If we think about the things that we can publicly speak about, digital transformation, one of the most important things to Mondelez. They've gone on record to say that publicly, right? When we think about what we're doing right now, we started first with the POC. We've talked about in other interviews, expanding that into production actually in the US and then taking it outside of the US. So we're focused on international expansion. We have projects underway right now to do that in other markets outside of the United States, which is huge for us, obviously, as a company. Then tying in the Hedera connectivity piece, which is now officially active, taking some of those transactions and posting them to Hedera, expanding that over time as we continue to refine what data, how we share that data, all of those things that we've talked through. And then there's other use cases that have nothing to even do with what we're doing right now, right? Cross-border payments is one that's been publicly spoken about, right? There'll be lots of other things that we'll be able to tie in over time. But, we're just, again, trying to be really focused and also respectful of the roadmap and, the innovation journey. It takes a little bit of time. And so, they've been a great partner in that. So.
Well, that's one of the things that you've been adamant about is even though you're starting off with some of these promotions and coupons, you are a payments company, right?
Yeah. And I think that's some of the confusion, in the community. And I get it. Like, I totally understand, a coupon is just a coupon in name, right? In terms of a lot of people, we all understand what that is. But there's a very big difference between a coupon, which is an IOU in the retail world. It's a piece of paper in physical form or even in digital form. It's still a digital IOU. And then we think about payments. When I think about I pull out my plastic Visa or MasterCard, or I use my Apple Pay on my phone to make a payment, that's actually tender. And so we're not a coupon company, we're a payments company. And so when we power payments, we don't actually have to leverage the existing coupon rails, the existing standards that exist in coupons, the legacy clearing and settlement process that is in the coupon industry. This is a completely different paradigm shift in terms of how brands and retailers can drive value that's not tied to any of the legacy requirements that are there today. So that's sometimes where the confusion comes. Like, we'll talk about it like a coupon, but it's actually very, very different in what we're doing. It's a different type of technology that SKUx has been, building and patenting for many years. So
it's true innovation. Now, one of the other things I wanted to ask you about, all we've heard about publicly when it comes to the Hedera tech stack part of SKUx is Mondelez. And you might not be able to give specific names, but can you talk about any of the other partners that are potentially interested in using that Hedera portion of your tech stack?
We have made an announcement recently alongside Visa and some of the work that we're doing with them, right? So when you think about large payment networks, and I'll kind of, stop there. There are large payment networks that are looking to drive significant value through our solution that we're working with right now. There's other global CPG brands that are also seeing the innovation and seeing the transformation that's happening right now, especially from a digital perspective. So, some of those we'll announce over time. But there are many others that we're working with that also see the value of DLT for what we're doing with it, right? I think, and you and I have talked about this before, Brandon, there's a reality of the ledger and what can be driven from a traceability and a transparency perspective, nothing to do with crypto, that is very powerful where we are in retail today. I think, the idea, we've been thinking about this since we started the company. The time has come now because the retail ecosystem's kind of caught up to this. And a lot of it is just external factors that are being, driven, right? I was with Mondelez at the United Nations a few weeks back talking about global blockchain standards and how that applies from a CPG perspective, right? When you think about sustainability and you think about, all of the things that have to be managed that only digital ledgers can accomplish, right? In terms of provability of all of these different things, some of them that have nothing to do with SKUx. But I think that whole wave is pushing the retail ecosystem to really start leveraging the power of distributed ledger technology and blockchain in the way that we actually can, solve real problems. So that's exciting for us because we've been preaching this for a long time. So you keep saying the same thing over and over, others start saying it with you. So it's kind of cool.
There you go. It's absolutely music to our ears, and we couldn't agree with you more. Bobby, is there anything else you'd like to pass on before we let you go?
Just appreciate the support as always, Brandon. Very, very exciting times ahead. And hello, future for all of us. Let's go.
There you go. Thank you so much for building on Hedera, and good luck in the future.
Thanks, bud.
I'm now posting these interviews of Hedera builders independently to my channel. The community, influencers, and media outlets are free to use this content to spread the word on what's being built on Hedera. Once they're all uploaded, you'll be able to go to my channel and search for whatever topic or team you're interested in to find more information. Or you'll be able to get the most recent Hedera news by watching the latest HBAR Weekly update. So check them out.